He doesn't own the information and Google has it. I don't know, maybe the government wants to.
Well, our users always own their information, and they can make a decision as to what information they want to share and store with us, what information is important, right? They can decide how they want to use our tools. And our objective as a service provider is to really make sure that our privacy policies are clear and well understood, so our users are making informed decisions about how they want to use our services.
How important is the leitmotif, don't be evil, for the company?
I think that don't be evil is something that a lot of people pay attention to. It's a catchy phrase, and it's a good idea. We believe that you can build really healthy businesses without compromising your principles. And I think that's a compelling idea, because so many times people have seen in this business transaction or in that business transaction, people really sacrificing a principle or an ideal for it. For us, don't be evil really means do good by the users. Think about the end user's experience and make sure that we are really advancing the search experience and the experience on all of our products in a way that benefits them.
Do you think that Google made the world less evil?
I think that Google's a very young company, and so it's hard to think about what the mark on the world that Google has made is or isn't. I think that we have really decreased the amount of time it takes to find valuable information, and as a result people are making better decisions about their job, their education, their health, and even small day-to-day decisions, and I think that's really great. But I think it's hard to tell exactly some of these longer-term metrics.
You also do some things about the global warming? Mm-hmm. That's right. You're doing some things about that?
Sure. We have some initiatives around clean energy.
Okay. Okay. Just one more thing. Is the financial crisis affecting Google?
Well, I think that when you have what appears to be a global economic downturn, obviously it affects all, if not most if not all companies. And so I think that when you look at the world overall, we're in a period of uncertainty. So we don't really know what will happen in the economy. We don't really know what the effect on Google will be. That said, we are really managing the company very tightly. We're managing it frugally, doing things that make sense, investing where it makes sense, cutting back where it makes sense, and we're being really frugal and kind of going back to those startup values and principles that we've always had, but really revisiting those and saying, okay, how can we be scrappy? How can we get more done with less? And I think that's actually a really healthy transition for the overall company. So I think the effect of the economy on Google is not yet clear, and it's not clear for most companies. But I do think the internal change has been one of increased prudence, increased frugality, and really a return to that scrappy entrepreneurial spirit that's made Google Google.
Is a possibility to cut jobs in the future? Because Google is famous because always is hiring people. Do you think it's a possibility?
I can't speculate.
How do you manage the kind of the amount of employees that you have and keep the efficiency? Because you always are.
The way that we manage it is by hiring really good people. So we have a very thorough hiring process. So it's very hard to get hired at Google. You have to go through lots of interviews, and we do a lot of different assessments, reference checks, things like that, to really make sure that we're bringing in people who not only are very smart, but also can get things done and also have the same type of scrappy entrepreneurial motivation around improving the world. And when you bring in people who are really motivated, in many ways they manage themselves. I've always thought it was a really remarkable thing about Google that a lot of times we'll express our priorities. These are the important projects. These are the important initiatives. And it's amazing to watch how people will then want to leave their products and work on products that are more core to the strategy. And I think it's a testimony to how much and how invested Googlers are in the company and the success overall, and how much they want to do the right thing for the company.
Besides China, did you have troubles with searching results? For instance, in Argentina, the justice made the first call not to show some results. Did you have the same problems in other countries besides China? And if you can explain what is happening in China with Google results.
Well, obviously to operate in a country, we need to comply with local laws. And in some cases, local law involves involves the exclusion of some content. When we do exclude content, we are very transparent about it, and we put a message on the result page that allows people to understand when something's been omitted. And ultimately, we really like to link to, and in most cases we do, link to an entry that tells you why it was omitted.
Besides China, did you have problems in other countries?
Well, I'm not going to break out particular countries,
Yeah.
but I do think to say that, I mean, as a global policy, we need to comply with the laws in individual countries.
And we can talk more about the models case in Argentina with someone else if you want to, or about
the models.
you were saying that